What's going on, gamers? Once again, it's your host, Arachnid Soul, intellectual, voracious, and passionate about gaming as always. You see that logo on the screen, it's Scourge Outbreak. It's a game recently released, in fact, in the last 2 weeks, on the PC. I downloaded this from Steam. I've played a little bit of it. I like it. And I'm joined by the British commentator. It's Sakuraba1982. Sackmeister, what's going on?
Hello there, you bunch of slags. You know who I am, and I'm here to help Arachnid Soul with this dual commentary. I know nothing about this game. I'm watching this for the first time, so I'm going to let you know what I think.
Alright, so I pretty much invited Sakuraba here for the kind of... He's going to play the part of the surrogate for people who haven't played this game. I can tell you right now, first of all, people always care about graphics. As good as this game probably looks on your screen, it looks even better when I haven't had to render the footage a couple of times. This game looks brilliant. I'm not even running this on the top graphical specs. Alright, Sakuraba, but let me ask you something. Does this remind you of another game that you might have enjoyed that we talk about from time to time?
Yeah, it just looks Mass Effect, doesn't it? It's got Mass Effect oozing out of every pore.
That's exactly what I thought. You also have the wheel that comes up that lets you direct your teammates to go to certain positions or attack certain enemies. It's...
Apologies. One thing I'd say is, although you look at this graphically, guys, what I can tell you as someone who uploads videos, as soon as it goes onto YouTube, it destroys whatever quality you've got, so I've got no doubt this looks a lot better firsthand.
Oh yeah, I was playing this, and I really don't care about graphics, but I was playing this, and I was just blown away by the graphics. The gameplay is awesome, and let me point out one of the most awesome features. There you see the Mass Effect wheel that comes up that lets you mark enemies, and... Anyway, one of the most awesome things about this game, it's 4-player co-op. And when I say 4-player co-op, I don't mean like Far Cry 3 where you've got these little linear missions. I mean the campaign, the full game is up to 4-player co-op. So you can bring your friends, you can work together, talk on the mics, whether it's party chat or however you want to do it. And it's absolutely awesome. Now Sakuraba, let me ask you, just looking at this, does this look like a game you'd be willing to try out?
And certainly would be a game I'd be looking to try out. I mean, let's be honest, nowadays it's all about the co-op gameplay. Versus is great, but everyone loves a co-op game with their friends.
Well, I mean, there's nothing better. I went through Borderlands, I've gone through a number of games co-op, and it's just so much fun.
Borderlands.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Well,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a Borderlands fan. I know it's a good game. Sorry to interrupt you there, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I feel about Far Cry 3. I'm sure it's a good game. I used to own it. I tried to play it. I loved the hell out of Far Cry 2, one of my favorite games ever. Far Cry 3 to me was just like a Red Dead Redemption, Just Cause 2 ripoff, poorly done. I know everybody loves it. It got 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 everywhere, but so I understand you not liking Borderlands, even though I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Far Cry 3. It's one of those games that I kind of wish I'd played on the PC. It was, although the game was all there on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, graphically, I think it was kind of really butchered. I know it's not the all-important aspect of the game is the graphics, but just looking at it, I think it would just been a lot better on the PC.
Right. Well, and also I'll tell you, as someone playing this, I'm playing this, yes, on the PC, but I was playing this with an actual controller that's kind of a hybrid Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 controller. To me, it's got the best of both worlds because I like the two analog sticks together PlayStation style, but at the same time, the Xbox 360 controller, the mass of it just feels better, so this controller has both things. Anyway, I had just gone through the tutorial, I had just learned the controls, and because I'm still in a kind of Mass Effect mindset with the controls, you'll notice me doing certain things that maybe I shouldn't do. I'm bringing up my shield and using my my powers, and sometimes I'm throwing grenades when I mean to shoot, just because I haven't adjusted to the controls yet.
The protagonist there has got this Joanna Dark thing going on from Perfect Dark. Am I just imagining that, or...?
Well, I would think... You've got that. You've got Mass Effect going on. Some people might look at this and see Crisis. You can actually play as any one of the 4 characters that you see, and they all have different powers and they do different things. I just felt like playing as the female character because for some reason people don't tend to play female characters, whether it's Mass Effect or whatever it is, unless they have no other choice. But yeah, I mean, I get that feeling too. I will say that this game, while it samples stuff from other games, it doesn't feel like a ripoff of any one game. It looks much more like Mass Effect than it feels. It feels like its own kind of fresh, original thing. It's got a good plot, and you actually, when you learn the controls, it's actually a really good game.
I've got no issues with games stealing stuff that works from other games. It's when you play something and it feels like a direct rip of the game it's trying to imitate. A game like The Last of Us, for example, steals a little bit from the other Naughty Dog games. It steals a little bit from stealth games, a little bit from survival horror games. But it all comes together and it just works. It doesn't feel like it's stolen or trying to imitate one particular thing. So taking little bits from successful games is fine, as long as it doesn't feel like a carbon copy.
Right, I see a lot of that happening. A game is really successful, so now the game developer of another studio will say, hey, let's just rip that off. A lot of people might think... that was the kind of the comment that a lot of people had when the first Saints Row came out. They're like, oh, this is just a rip-off of Grand Theft Auto, which it was, but at the same time, it added so much silliness. If it would have been serious like Grand Theft Auto, it would have been disgusting and ridiculous. But because it's so comical and there's so much weird stuff going on, I thought it was acceptable.
Yeah, certainly the Saints Row series in sort of the second and third game, and even more in the fourth game, I never played the fourth game, developed a personality of its own, enough to be different from the GTA series anyway. I'll give you an example of what you was talking about, Aliens Colonial Marines. Mm-hmm. Why on earth did they feel it necessary to take things from Call of Duty? It should be a survival horror game. Why do they try and copy something else, which is obviously popular at the time? It just doesn't work for every single game.
Well, I mean, I think that's another topic for another day. The fact that a lot of survival horror games have turned into Call of Duty-esque action games. I mean, we saw that happen with the Clock Tower series. It went from being survival horror to, wait a minute, I'm playing an action game now.
And Dead Space?
Yeah.
Another sin? Anyway, I think we're digressing a little bit from the original topic here. I think that should be another tutorial or another commentary we talk about.
Yeah, so basically here, you see me sending out some of those little green orb hologram things. That basically just brings up a wheel and tells your people, hey, go over there, hide behind this. I mean, for you people who've played Mass Effect, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can mark enemies, and at the same time, if you need help, you can actually command them to regroup. Maybe you're down, and they'll come over and they'll revive you. They all have different powers, but they're all kind of, to use the Mass Effect lingo, kind of biotic powers. So the girl I'm using now, she puts her hand out, she has a force field, and that becomes a shield that no one can shoot through except your teammates, so they can all hide behind her. The problem is she can't actually shoot while she has it out, but there's another guy who throws the shield out, and he can shoot, but it's not as strong. And it's kind of cool because you imagine if you're playing 4-player co-op, each character has individual strengths and weaknesses, and you would have to learn how to work together.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Soul?
Yep.
It's a fictional scenario. Mass Effect, the next game. A big revelation. They suddenly come out tomorrow on IGN and say Mass Effect 4, or the continuation series, comes out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One only in 2 months. Would you buy one?
That's the $1 million question. First of all, I would say, why the hell are you not bringing this out on PC? But okay, would I go out and get? I'm gonna say this, and please don't send the hate mail or whatever, but I just bought this computer, and this computer, when you look at the specs of it, in a lot of ways, it's more powerful than some of the next gen consoles that are out, and certainly the Nintendo Wii U, that goes without saying. But anyway, I kind of feel like this is my next gen console. I put a lot of money into this. This cost me more than it would even have cost me to get an Xbox One. But if they said it's only on those consoles, I don't know that I would go out and buy those consoles right away, but that would certainly make me go out and buy one of those consoles eventually, which I plan to do anyway.
I could be controversial and say if they brought something out on the PC, they could always bring it out on the Xbox One at 900p, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe 720p. Yeah. I own both consoles, guys, so I can kid. I'm probably one of the only people who can say one way or the other because I own both, which means I have a fair point of view.
Well, and I also think that what you've said about both consoles has been some of the most honest reporting that, yeah, both consoles, they have their pluses. You know, one console might have something better than the other console, but at the end of the day, just because one console is good does not mean that the other console is absolute crap.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people have problems grasping. You know, at the end of the day, PS4 doesn't have a lot of games at the moment. The Xbox One is underpowered, but in time, that gap will get smaller. You know, the Xbox One, they will get better handle on the programming, and the PlayStation 4 will have better games as time goes on. There's just been a lot of delays, but fanboys will be fanboys and haters got hate.
Yeah, I really don't understand the whole fanboy, fangirlism unless you're on the payroll. You know, to me, I like to say that I'm a gamer. I'm passionate about gaming, and in the past couple of weeks, while we got a bit of time left, I can tell you there's been a little bit of negativity from people who are like, we don't see you on the console as much anymore, and, you know, you're playing PC games. Let me tell you, I didn't play this game on my small screen. I had my computer via an HDMI cable hooked up to my TV. This is actually a laptop I bought. I had the laptop shut, and I'm playing with a console controller in my hand. And I'm playing a game that, to me, if they release this on a console, and it might be, but it feels like a console game, a PC game. It just feels like an awesome game to me, so I don't really think there's anything wrong with me playing console or playing PC, and I don't know. I don't think people should hate on me because I'm not playing my PS3 or my, you know, Xbox or Nintendo as much recently.
Arachnid, it's getting near the end of the video, buddy. It's always a pleasure to do a dual commentary with you. And this game does look pretty good. I've got to be honest, it's something I would potentially try.
Yeah, and I can tell you, we're almost out of time. This is a really awesome game, guys. And by the way, this game, it only costs $8. It is dirt cheap.
$8 cha-ching.
Once again, it's been your boy, Arachnid Soul. Passionate, voracious, honest, all that stuff as always. We're going to let you guys go. This has been Scourge Outbreak, once again, available on the PC through Steam. I'd like to thank Sackmeister for joining me. Thank you, guys. Please join us next time, and good night.